We are jumping into lesson 8.1, equal parts of a whole. Looking at our standard, we're still looking at developing an understanding of fractions as numbers. Our lesson objective, today we're going to explore and identify equal parts of a number. And our essential question that we'll journal about at the end is, what are equal parts of a whole? If you remember the introduction to 8.1, I told you that each fraction can only be a fraction if you have equal parts. So that's going to be an important focus for today with equal parts of a whole. Getting our brains warmed up. Our problem of the day, remember, it talks about previous lessons we've learned. Test prep question. Louisa has 20 stamps. She wants to put an equal number of stamps on each of 5 sheets. How many stamps should go on each sheet? So, how many sheets did she want? She wanted 5 sheets. So we need to draw 5 sheets. And how many stamps should she have total? She had 20. So we're going to count out 20. 15. Okay, we want to make sure that we really have equal numbers, so we're going to count into each box. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have 5 pages. Each has 4 stamps on each sheet, equaling a total of 20 stamps. So how many stamps should go on each sheet? 4 stamps. Okay. We had 20 stamps divided by 5 sheets, gave us 4 on each sheet. Okay. With your fabulous math brains warmed up, we're going to move into some fractions. Unlock the problem. You should be on page 307 in your Go Math book. Looking at equal parts of a whole, your essential question, what are equal parts of a whole? We talked about that yesterday, or on the video before, with the new vocabulary that we're learning. Unlock the problem, the real world. Lauren shares a sandwich with her brother. How sweet. They each get an equal part. How many equal parts are there? So here's the sandwich. She has it split into equal parts. What do we need to find? We need to find out how many equal parts of the sandwich there are. Okay. How many people share the sandwich? We have Lauren and we have her brother. So 2 people. Okay, so each whole shape below is divided into equal parts. A whole is all the parts of one shape or group. Equal parts are exactly the same size. Okay, so remember, in order to have fractions, you have to have all of them being equal sizes. So the first picture shows you have 1 piece, 2 piece, which gives you 2 halves. Okay, the second one, you have 1 piece, 2 piece, 3 pieces, which gives you the thirds. This one gives you 1 piece, 2 piece, 3 piece, 4 pieces, so you have 4 fourths. Okay, so here you had 2 halves. Okay, on this one you have 3 pieces of thirds. This one, oh my goodness, I couldn't even count over here. We better write that one again. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of fourths. Okay, so here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 6 sixths. That's kind of hard to say. And here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have 8 eighths. Okay. Lauren's sandwich is divided into halves. So how many pieces does she have? There were 2 equal parts. Okay. Draw a picture to show a different way Lauren's sandwich could have been divided into halves. So if we have her sandwich here, they cut it going this direction in half. The other way you could have cut it, as long as it's equal, you could cut it going down this way, or you could have cut it going across. As long as this piece is relatively the same size as this piece here, or vice versa if you did it this way, that this piece is about the same size as this piece. The thing is you can't have divided it like this, okay, because this side and this side are not equal. So you have to have them be the same size, the same shape if it's going to be a fraction. Okay, so those are other ways you could have divided the sandwich. If you wanted to get real picky, they divided theirs going this way. You could have also divided it going this way. Would have been the same thing. As long as, again, this side is the same size as this. So think about if you're dividing something into a fraction, you want to get an equal size on each piece in order for it to be a fair fraction. Okay? We're going to flip over to page 308, and I made this into 2 slides just so we could talk about the top. It says, write whether the shape is divided into equal parts or unequal parts. So we just talked about how all of the pieces need to be the same size. If they are the same size, then they're going to be equal. If they're not the same size, then it's not going to be an equal fraction. Okay? So if we look at number A, it has 4 pieces, and those 4 pieces are all the same size. They're not all arranged the same, but they are all the same size. So they are equal because they are equal size. So think about that. Equal equals equal size. Okay? If you look at letter B, each one of these triangles is the same size. They're going in different directions, but they're the same shape and they're the same size. So they too are 6 equal parts, which equals a sixth. On C, looking carefully at this shape, is this the same size as this? Thinking about if you were going to share that with someone, which piece would you want? Because they're not equal parts. So they are 2 unequal pieces. So there is no fraction name down here like there is sixths and fourths because it's not equal, so it cannot be a fraction. Okay? Looking at our error alert, be sure the parts are equal in size. You see that these 3 are the same size. This one is split into 3 pieces, but they are not equal. They're not the same size, so that is not a fraction showing 1/3. This fraction, you have 3 equal pieces, you would have a fraction of thirds, you would have 1 piece of a third would be this piece. This you can't have as a fraction because the pieces are not equal. Okay. Looking at the bottom of that page, the share and show, how do you know parts are equal? Is what we just talked about on the little arrow on the other side, which would be the top of your page. If your parts are equal, you'll know because they're the same size. So looking at number 1, the shape is divided into 3 equal parts. They're all the same size. And you can tell by looking at them that they're all the same size. So what is the name of the parts? Let's see. It's 3 equal parts, so it's going to be thirds. Each one is going to be 1/3. Okay? It actually wants you to use the vocabulary word here. I also want you to write the fraction. So 1/3 is representing one of these pieces. If you did two of the pieces, this would be 2/3. If you did all of the pieces, then it would be 3/3. So your fractional name of the parts is that it's split into thirds. Looking at number 2, write the number of equal parts. Okay, so it's already telling you we have written these in equal. We are practicing counting equal parts. You have 4 equal parts, so that would be fourths. Number 2, you have 1 equal part and 2 equal parts. Thinking back to what we did yesterday at the intro of the lesson, when you have 2, you have halves. You folded it in half, making half plural because you have 2 equal halves. Number 4, you're going to have to count. You have 8 equal parts. And here's that tricky spelling word for me again. You have 8, and then, because it's a fraction, you add the THS, eighths. On the bottom, it wants you to tell whether it's equal or unequal parts, and that's what we did up here on the top of your page. Remember, I just cut my page in half so it will show better. So you're going to look at 5, 6, and 7 and write whether it's equal or unequal parts. So looking at 5, are all of these pieces the same size? Hopefully you're saying no, so you know that they're unequal parts. Looking at 6, these all look to be the same size, so you're going to write equal. And number 7, what do you think? Is this the same size as all of this? Go ahead and fill in your answer. And turning the page, this is on your own page. So I'm going to go over the directions with you, but you're going to actually come back and do this after we do our problem solving page. So you'll do this on your own. Number 8 through 13, it wants you to write the number of equal parts, then write the name of the parts. I want to see you actually numbering inside of the shapes. So I should see numbers written in each one of those shapes, then the answer of equal parts, and then go back to your vocabulary page at the beginning of the chapter to figure out which vocabulary word to write there, whether it's going to be halves, thirds, fourths, fifths, sixths, sevenths, eighths, whatever it is, maybe on the blue line below that. Then on number 14, 15, and 16, it wants you again to look at, are they equal or unequal parts? And just writing those words of equal or unequal on the blue line. And number 17, 18, and 19. You may need to either use part of your math folder or a straight edge and to do number 17, 18. Draw lines to divide the circle into equal parts. Number 17, it wants you to make 2 halves, so you should have 2 pieces. Number 18, it wants you to make 4 fourths, so you should have 4 pieces. And number 19, it wants you to make 8 eighths, so you should have 8 pieces. Okay, so again, you're going to come back and do that after we do this page. So looking at our problem solving page on 310. You're going to use the picture for number 20 and 21. My picture's a little hard to see because I blew it up a little bit, and so mine's a little blurry, so you might want to really refer to your book and make sure you understand. Number 20, Mrs. Rivera made 2 pans of brownies for Alex's party. She cut each pan into parts. What is the name for the parts of pan A? So here's pan A, and we need to figure out how many brownies she made. How many brownies did she make? She made 6 brownies, so what's the fractional name for that? Is sixths. Number 21. Alex said his mom divided pan B into eighths. does this statement make sense? So we're looking at Pan B. I'm going to trace over my lines just so you can see it a little bit better. Does it make sense that his mom made that pan into eighths? Given what we've talked about with equal parts, can Pan B really be said that it is split into eighths? Are all of those pieces equal? If you look at Pan B, it's cut similar to Pan A, except for it has another cut on the bottom. So are each one of those pieces the same? It is not the same, because there are 8 parts, but the parts are not equal. So Pan B is not divided into eighths. So go ahead and put that into your own words and fill in number 21. Number 22 is really making you think. It wants you to look at that shape here and explain why the rectangle is divided into 4 equal parts. Why is that rectangle divided into 4 equal parts? So looking at these shapes, are these relatively the same size even though they flipped those last 2? It looks to be relatively equal. So the second vertical line divides it in half, then the halves are divided into halves, so each half is half of a half. So you actually have 4 equal parts. So it is a fractional rectangle. Number 23, Shelby cut a triangle out of paper. She wants to divide the triangle into 2 equal parts. Draw a quick picture to show what her triangle would look like. Okay, so she cut a triangle out of paper. Then she wants to divide it into 2 equal parts. You'll have to decide, if you cut it this way, are those equal parts? If you cut it this way, are those equal parts? So it wants to know, how would you cut that triangle to make it into 2 equal parts? So you should have a drawing of a triangle, and I want to see a line where you would cut it. Remember to always push pause on the play button if it's going too fast for you and you're not able to write everything or draw everything that needs to be done. Number 24, Andrew wants to divide a square piece of paper into 4 equal parts. Draw 2 different quick pictures to show how his paper could look. So he has a square piece of paper, meaning all sides are equal. How can you cut those 2 differently so that it has 4 equal parts? Go ahead and do that one. This problem-solving page seems easier than the ones that we've had in previous chapters. I think our math brains are growing. Number 25. Parker divides a fruit bar into thirds. How many equal parts are there? Well, we know that 2 means he's cut it in half. We know that 4 means it's fourths. 8 means it's eighths. So 3 means third. Which one of those answers the question? Parker divides a fruit bar into thirds. How many equal parts are there? Remember, your denominator tells you the total number of equal parts. Okay, next you're going to go back and do your on your own page. And then you're going to do your answering in your journal of your essential question, what are equal parts of a whole? And then your math journal, describe how 4 friends could share a sandwich equally. So it goes back to your real world problem from earlier. When you're done with today's lessons, you have 2 different things to do. If you did not get to the literature piece yesterday, you have the pizza part story, where you're going to read how to find equal parts and write fractions. And there's also a game for today that goes with this lesson for this chapter. It's called Fish for Fractions. Students complete Orange Activity Card 11 by playing a Go Fish game in which they match fractions, symbols, words, and pictures. So that is all in your math center for you for today. Make sure that you fill out the appropriate pieces, and those can just go right into your journal, and go ahead and 3-hole punch those pages. So if you did not understand anything for today, go back and rewatch. Don't forget to go back and finish your on your own page, your essential question, your math journal, and then grab one of these and take yourself a step further. Okay? If you have any questions, come see me. If you just don't understand something or I went too fast, go back and watch again. I will see you for 8.2.